More than 100 Mayans showed up in front of Punta Gorda's Magistrate Court today to witness the detention of Maya Leaders Alliance spokesperson Christina Cook. Her arrest stems from an incident that occurred over the weekend involving Rupert Miles, a black Belizean. Miles was detained by a group of Mayans in Santa Cruz village on Saturday. Images showed that he was handcuffed just outside his home that sits on the Ushbenka Maya site. This latest action taken by the Maya community has been described as racist, and Prime Minister Dean Barrow condemned it, saying that it was inappropriate, outrageous, and indefensible, and said that he would look into the matter carefully and see if any of the villagers might be criminally liable. And today, 11 Maya community members were charged for unlawful imprisonment against Rupert Miles. Forming part of that crowd was Christina Cook, the spokesperson for the Maya Leaders Alliance. Some of the detainees were also charged for common assault and aggravated assault with a machete. Program coordinator for the Maya Leaders Alliance, Pablo Mes, told PGTV that they have documented complaints against Rupert Miles, who for months now has been reportedly breaking community rules.
You will recall that there has been an ongoing tension in Santa Cruz that relates to an individual that refuses to comply with the community rules. The community have a documented chain of outcry to the authorities for support to ensure that this individual complies. Authorities failed to act. The village then ensured that their community rules is upheld and respected by others. So now it has been turned into sort of a nightmare, where this morning at around 4 in the morning, 4 truckloads of police officers arrived at the village and essentially barged into people's home and detained 11 persons, including an alcalde and the chairperson of the village. Those individuals are now being detained at the police station. They're being processed and they're being denied their right to their attorney. I just got a word from the attorney from inside that she's being asked to stay away from her clients as they are being processed.
All right. Could you mention, is there anyone else that is being detained at the moment?
As you know, the Maya Leaders Alliance and Toledo Alcalde Association is known to support communities in defending their rights, in ensuring that all the laws of Belize is applied accordingly within the communities, and that also the customary rights as guaranteed under the Constitution of Belize and international law and international standards that Belize is obligated to uphold. The MLA and the TEA have consistently, for the past 3 decades, supported communities. In that regard, the communities did reach out to the MLA and the TEA for support in this instance, and so we're very familiar with the case. We were invited as well, just like the police and the BDF, to come to the community that day to witness what was happening. In that regard, the Toledo Alcalde Association sent representatives. Now, Ms. Christina Cook, the spokesperson of the Maya Leaders Alliance and the Alcalde Association, has been arrested by police. She's right now behind bars, locked up in a cell. She's been processed. So that's really the situation right now.
Has there been any charges levied against Christina?
We understand that the charges that all these persons are held for has to do with unlawful arrest.
Mess argued that Miles was detained lawfully and according to community laws.
In your mind, is the arrest of Mr. Miles unlawful?
It has been clearly outlined in the letters of the communities to the authorities. Support was sought from them, from both the police department, the Punta Gorda Police Department, the very department now that has detained 11 villagers and Christina Cook. They reached out to them and the Belize Defense Force for support to ensure that all laws are upheld. But I want to state that the alcalde, who is a local magistrate in the community, has the jurisdiction to order the arrest or detention. They've done it numerous times in the communities, and that is why you find Maya communities to be very peaceful communities. Now, it is the obligation to uphold the laws, including that of the community and Maya customary right. So in this instance, the alcalde ordered the detention of this person. Now, I want to be clear, this person was never arrested, he was never charged. He was merely restrained, he was detained for threats that he has given against the community, for being very disrespectful, being a bully at that particular meeting. It was for those reasons that he was detained. Once the situation was resolved, he was released. And that's really what the community were asking for from the beginning. So we will leave the rest up to our attorneys. We have our attorneys right now preparing to be with these persons. As I said earlier, we have got confirmation from the attorney inside that she's being refused the right to give a service to her clients. We've also activated the international community to monitor this situation, because for us now this is really, this doesn't have to do with Santa Cruz anymore. This clearly is the lack of understanding of Maya customary law, the core issue that was argued before the Caribbean Court of Justice. So this is really a failure now of the government to protect Maya people as equal people to all, as equal people of Belize.
Representing those detained was attorney Audrey Matura Shepherd.
What is amazing about this, it shows you the might of the state. The Prime Minister said in his interview on Monday that at all costs, he will make whatever authorities do whatever they have to do to bring justice and get these people. I don't say we shouldn't have justice. I believe that there should be an investigation and the side of Mr. Miles should be heard and the side of the community. But I want to be able to give you all today a copy of a letter that shows clearly that the police, the BDF and NICH knew the problem, and they knew that on that day a meeting was be held to discuss that issue and that the eviction was key to it. And they were called out so that this may be done peacefully. Did they show up? No, they didn't show up. But this morning at 3:30 or 4 o'clock, as though they're dealing with common criminals, they don't even go at the border and get the Guatemalans at pre-dawn operations. They came to the village of Santa Cruz while men and women were sleeping. And what the police don't want you all to see is that many of these people did not have on shirts. And they were not wearing any shoes, if you look, because the police, in an inhumane way, refused to make them put on a simple shirt and refused to make them put on a shoe. It is begging other friends out here that people took off their shirts and gave it to them so that they can go before the courts. And that needs to be known. So that pre-dawn operation is just showing the might of the state. Bail was set at $8,000 initially. However, under the regulations or the instructions issued by the chief magistrate, if your bail is over $5,000, you must bring land paper. Now we're talking with people who are talking about communal land rights, so they don't have land paper, so effectively you can't get bail. Now the magistrate, I made an application to him to ask him to use his discretion, because he has the power to give use his discretion and vary the terms of bail, the amount. He can give either the $8,000 and split it into two surety, which means that each person will be only signing for $4,000 each, or he can reduce the bail to $5,000 or less so that you can access bail without getting land paper. I must say that initially he has indicated his style is that he doesn't, once he gives bail, that's it. But I'm glad that he heard our application and used his discretion, because as I pointed out to him, under our constitution, bail is a right. It is not a privilege. Your freedom, your right to freedom under your constitution is important. It's as of right. So no court system should give you some kind of bail or make some kind of provision that makes it beyond your reach. And as I indicated to him, these people don't own land title. The mere fact the issue arises out of communal land rights. They don't have one title to say and here and go. And it's rather interesting, because it shows you clearly that the system that we have designed does not keep in mind the cultural difference of our indigenous people, because this system was never designed for poor people. In Belize City, I go through the same problem. When I get a young black man that has to go before the court, they live in areas that they will never have access to land paper, so you have these bail bondsmen that charge them thousands of dollars to sign bail for them, which is exorbitant, which is an injustice. So I would hope that after all we go through, that Belizeans would clamor that bail cannot be that you have to have land paper. And this nonsense that only if you work you can bail someone else. I mean, the system is just not designed for the oppressed people. It's clear-cut.
The case was adjourned until next month.